Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 8 of the RBNY UK podcast. I'm Scott Humphreys, and today I'm joined by my usual friend, Luke Hume.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And also we are honoured today to be graced by the presence of Mr. Ronnie Piper. Ronnie, how are you?
I'm very well, Scott. How are you?
I'm wonderful, my friend. Even more exciting, Ronnie, we're very pleased you're here. We're a little bit more excited for our guest this evening. We are going to be joined later on in the show by Seeing Red podcaster, by all-round RBNY legend Mark Fishkin to talk about all things Red Bull this season and past. We're very, very excited to have Mark on. But yeah, let's get into it. Right, so first of all, let's just discuss something that, we've got going on with the podcast. We've got a new intro, Luke.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm the sort of person, when I get an idea in my head, I have to do it about a second. I don't like waiting around. I do it like that. And we were thinking about an intro. We had this idea of something we wanted to do, and it was quite bold. Let's be quite kind. We want to get animation. And our idea basically was it's going to show. We were going to show that that's the journey, what we do from the UK to Malaga, go around New York. But then we started to get quotes for animations, and that's quickly got thrown out because it was way, way, way above the budget we got for this. So I did the best thing on the internet for anything. Stock footage.
Stock footage.
Oh, it's saviour to everyone. And basically, I think it was up to like 4 a.m. one day. So sorry, work, if I was so tired that day. No, that was why. And I just kept cranking it out. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's pretty good.
Ronnie, what do you reckon?
I think it's quality, to be fair, especially obviously with our fellow friends on certain platforms that we can't show visuals for. It's nice to have a nice musical interlude to begin with. Cheers up the tones for the good morning, good afternoon, good evening, which we all love. So it's a beautiful asset, and I think Luke's done a great job on it.
Well, what's fun fact about music also is it actually called Road Trip, which I thought
Perfect.
I saw that and I thought I can't not have something called a road trip when it's literally what we do to go watch a match, and it's a great bit of music.
Isn't that
as well.
lovely? No. To be fair, I think the podcast is something that we're really passionate about, and every second that we get to improve, and you'll see a few little new bits in between here as well today with this podcast. What we're going to do, it's just part of our evolution, and I hope you enjoy. Right, yeah. Other big news surrounding the podcast is as of yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. As of yesterday, we are now finally, after many, many months of issues and technical glitches, we are on Apple Podcasts, Ronnie, aren't we?
Yeah, it's been an honour to finally get us uploaded on there. There's been glitches after glitches, but a 5 a.m. session on Wednesday night going into Thursday morning finally got us on there. So now you can listen to us on all the Apple devices, which I'm not going to start mentioning because Apple pump out even more products than the Red Bull Academy at the moment, which is lovely. But it's a beautiful way to listen, and also such an easy way to just put us on in the background, whether you're gymming, you're in the car, wherever you are. It's just an easy bang, press play, you're listening to the boys.
No, fantastic. It's massive, isn't it? We've got Spotify. Spotify's a huge platform, but for me, the other platform that is just as big, if not bigger, is Apple Podcasts. Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, well, we were talking about for ages how annoying it was. We couldn't get an Apple, and we would keep trying, keep working out what it was. We got that sorted now, thanks to Ronnie, and just really happy to do them. And what a way to start being an Apple podcast with the man myth himself, Mark Fishkin. Is there a better way to start?
I don't think there is there?
No.
Plus, Ronnie's here as well, so that's
Ronnie's as well, but
I was going to say.
Mark.
Mark. Right. Some huge news surrounding RBNY UK this week has happened. Probably the biggest news that I think we're going to drop for quite a long while, to be honest. we've some people might call us crazy, some people might call us stupid, some people might call us committed. We've made a very, very big step this week, and we are now officially RBNY Red members. So Essex and London now have a season ticket for a football team in the States. I mean, it's a bit balmy when you say it out loud, but it's very, very exciting from our point of view. Luke, what do you want to sort of add to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've been telling quite a few people at work this week, and the first thing was, "Are you moving to America?" I said, "No." And why you got? I said, we're going to go like 3 or 4 times a year. And I was saying, we found out, here's a tip for Americans if you ever come to England: go through Dublin. It's cheaper. And you don't.
That was my idea, by the way, not yours.
No, someone else made a shout out to me as well, so I need to tell you about that.
Mm.
But no, so we'll see quite a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to do some content over there. Like, hopefully.
Ronnie, whereabout is our seat?
Oh, it's in my favourite part of the ground where I had the pleasure of sitting on my. Well, I say sitting. I was meant to be sitting, but no one stands. No one sits. Sorry, everyone stands. But it's in the South Ward with all of the fellow members of the Red Bull family that just don't stop singing, and it's honestly a pleasure to be anywhere near them because when you listen to the games, not like Atlanta, which we'll get into in a bit, we have the proper fans who are singing the great songs, no matter if it's raining, sunshine, or snowing. They're there, even anywhere in the country but South Ward. It's one of my favourite places in the world.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I actually mentioned it to my dad the other day. I went out for a few beers with my dad and my brother, and I'd said, look, I've got a season ticket for a club halfway across the world, and he says he's very confused and very, the man's knocking on 60. He's confused. And anyway, a few beers later, he said, if you take your brother, I'll pay for your flights. So sorted. So I'll be over before long. No, but really, we are absolutely thrilled. We can't wait to get over there. And it's now an opportunity to sort of get over there a little bit more frequently than we thought we were going to be able to before.
I guess the main thing, quite a few people have asked me when you're coming over. The main thing is we don't know. Like, we don't know when the borders are going to be open. I think I've been a bit optimistic. I've been saying, well, maybe we'll be over for July 31st. I think I'm being very optimistic in that sense. It may be probably more realistic. It'll probably be.
Ronnie, when you're doing all your edits and that, can we create a Luke says something stupid klaxon?
Yeah.
Just sign that every now and again, please.
I was just about to think, I can just about go my shop on July 31st. So I'm not sure about North America at this moment in time, but yeah, definitely there's got to be some sort of graphic to pop up on the screen or a little counter in the corner.
I've been a bit optimistic. It's probably more likely to probably be later in August. Like mid-August, probably be a bit earlier, so I can imagine that's getting over. Like, never mind, we'll see.
We shall. However, that leads us very nicely on to my next point. Because we're not going to be coming over anytime soon due to the wonders that is COVID-19, we have a spare ticket. We have a spare seat, and we don't want that seat going spare. There are lots of fans that are struggling to afford tickets due to the pandemic. And that just haven't had an opportunity to get down to Red Bull Arena. So we've opened a competition on our Twitter page. We've just posted a tweet with a little bit of a note attached, and essentially all you need to do is retweet and follow, and we will draw on the 6th of July the winner of the ticket to New York Red Bulls versus Philadelphia Union in the Not a Derby on Friday, 9th of July. For me, I think that's quite exciting. We've managed to give away a Red Bull Gerhard Stuber identity sticker in a competition to Jeremiah. So well done to you.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, now obviously we've got this ticket giveaway. Anything to add to that, Ron?
Well, yeah, obviously an absolute pleasure to give back to the community that we love so much, and we all know people have struggled. Everyone's struggled themselves with the pandemic. So if we can get one person in the stadium who wouldn't have been able to see a match, it's just an honour, really. And just to say thank you for everything, what everyone's done so far.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Luke.
I thought you said anything out, really.
Lovely. Right, yeah. While you're waiting for the competition to end, and it's payday in and around this time of the month, we have our store, our RBNY UK store at rbnyuk.com, where you can go and get yourself your own identity stickers, your mugs, your t-shirts, male or female, and plenty more. Go over, give us a look, and while you're there, check out the fantastic articles that are written by our wonderful writers. Right, shall we get into the last week or two's action then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, obviously the big news of the week is that Caden Clark, the kid, the boy wonder, the Minnesotan superstar, has agreed, finally agreed, should we say, his move to Red Bull Leipzig. It's an undisclosed fee, sort of believed to be around $1.5 to $2 million, with no other sort of add-ons there that we're aware of yet. Yes, you might say it's a transfer fee, but it's a bit of a shift of money somewhere in Austria, isn't it, rather than a transfer.
The thing is, I've read something about this, and because of the way MLS rules work, in fact, Caden Clark is not a homegrown player because he bought his rights from Minnesota. Part of that 33% of that transfer fee will go to MLS. So, with no real point on giving, say, might as well pay $2 million rather than $5 million because and just get by another player in transfer window. I can't remember who said that now. Someone said that on Twitter. That was a good point you made. I can't remember. But
no, I mean, yeah, I agree. I think there might be some behind the scenes money moved instead. So the club's got a bit more cash to spend in whichever strange ways MLS clubs can spend their cash in the next transfer window. But now Clark moves to Red Bull Leipzig officially as of the other day. But he's loaned back to New York Red Bulls for the rest of the season and will move officially to Leipzig to link up with Jesse Marsch and Tyler Adams in January 2022. Obviously, Clark, not necessarily not a homegrown player, came through the Barcelona Academy, where he met Sean McCaffrey, our academy director, head coach down there, has come through and has had an absolutely fantastic sort of run. 14 games and 5 goals, I believe, is his record for the first team, which you can't really knock. How are we going to miss Caden when he goes? But what can he impact on the club before he leaves, Ronnie?
Yeah, I think it's obviously you was just making a thing about Jesse Marsch, Tyler Adams. It's quite a similar situation to Tyler Adams because everyone knew the kid. Both of them have world-class talent, and you can see it from an early age with the MLS. If a player's that good, you can tell that they're going to make the next step. But obviously, it's going to be one of them that we just got to try and get him as healthy as possible for the last months while he's here and try and make the most impact he can. But just touching on it, even people have had their own say on it, but you got to be proud of the kid. He's come in at the age of 17 and proven that he's a world beater, and everyone now knows in Europe who Caden Clark is, and that's just a testament to him and his ability on the pitch. And hopefully he's just going to go over there and smash it like Tyler Adams, and who better to be coaching him than Jesse Marsch?
Absolutely. Luke, what are your thoughts on the transfer?
I mean, yeah, I was quite surprised by reactions of some people. Some people seemed shocked. It's probably the least kept secret since Terry Henry joined the Red Bulls. It was being spoken about for most of its season that he would be gone by next season. So I don't want people so surprised. And obviously, I don't want to get too much into this, but if we're a farm team, no MLS team keeps Caden Clark. I don't care if it goes to Leipzig, if it's Philadelphia. No team keeps Caden Clark. So you can't keep them sort of talents in MLS. It's just how it is, I'm afraid.
No, I mean it's a shame. I understand some people's frustrations. I think,
I do, yeah.
especially being a club in. I mean, I know we're in New Jersey, but New Jersey, New York State. We're such a big city. We're such a big area. We're an affluent place, and you look at those big cities around the world: Turin, Milan, obviously Manchester, London,
Yeah,
Barcelona, Real Madrid. These teams don't lose their kids before they've achieved anything. And I think that's the frustrating thing. I mean, Caden's played, like I said, 14 senior games. He's not been able to impact the club. We would have all liked to have seen him maybe play 100 games and then moved on and said, right, well, Caden Clark in that 100 games became a real sort of rebel legend.
Well, he really he can still win a cup this year. So
no, of course, and I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm optimistic that we're in with a chance, but I just think I understand those frustrations on that side.
Oh yeah, I think you all
want
get
these players to achieve before they move on.
Yeah.
Because some people, it will get to a point because he's so young. Some people in Euro snobs, as we call them, they won't even realise that Caden Clark was part of New York Red Bulls because he played so little here. I do understand the frustrations, but yeah, we are. Firstly, I mean, Caden, if you are listening, we know that your dad is very, very into all things RBNY UK. But thank you, Chris Clark, by the way, for your comment the other day. Really appreciate it. But if you are listening, congratulations. We are absolutely chuffed for you. It's an amazing move, and we cannot wait to get over to Leipzig to see you and to watch you on telly in the Champions League, beating all sorts of teams that we don't like very much. Fantastic. So yeah, that's that. Moving on. Since we last spoke, we played 2 games. Both of them road games. The first at New England Revolution, a disappointing 3-2 defeat, goals from Reyes and Klimala. And then following that, a 0-0 draw away to Atlanta United. Firstly, looking at New England Revolution, Luke, what were your thoughts on that game?
I watched about the first 70 minutes of it. I was on holiday, but that was on my birthday. That was so. So I watched a bit of it, but I didn't want to be. I couldn't be up too late for my birthday because I didn't want to be going for my birthday. So, so I watched a bit of it, and like I hate going down to Gillette Stadium. I hate playing New England. I hate playing them so much. I hate that bloody team. But it's not an easy place to go. And on another day, you would have got a point. You would have got a point for. You would have got 3-3. Like I don't think any shame losing 3-2 to New England.
No, a frustrating game. Obviously, going so far down so early. But I think, as Luke said, I think this was our 3rd game in a week, and I think if we'd have played that game in a normal Saturday run, I think we'd have definitely got something. I think the players look very tired as the game wore on, and obviously, I'll say the same against Atlanta as well. Ronnie, Patrick Klimala scored his first goal against New England Revolution. What do you think that'll do for his confidence?
Oh yeah, it's only going to do the wonder of good, and I've got to say, I've said it before to both. I'm very impressed with Patrick Klimala. I really like what we've acquired there, and he brings a new dynamic to the team, especially up front, where we had last year, obviously, White and Barlow, who are very similar in terms of like what they're going to give you in a team. But now with Fabio and Klimala up top, you've got Fabio who loves getting on the ball, running with it, but also being the creator. And Klimala is fiery. That's why I'm going to put it. It brings that edge to him. And centre halves don't want to be playing against him because if they put something on his ankle, he'll either go and put it in the top corner or he'll go and follow through on a tackle, which is nice to see. But no, I really do look forward to seeing them two, especially Klimala. I think he could be a great asset for the MLS, especially.
Absolutely. Luke, just quickly mentioning Andres Reyes, him scoring as well that day. What do you think of his start, red card aside, to his New Red Bulls career?
I think it's been good. I was disappointed at the start of the season when we weren't seeing him play. Like we were getting Aaron Long and Sean Nealitz. Sean Nealitz, I've never been too overly impressed with him. that being said, he has done a really good. He's been doing really well this season because he's been down to just two recognised centre backs. He's doing really well. I would want to see him involved then. And he had a mixed game, scored in his debut at New England, then got sent off. But I think he's done quite well. I think he's learning from mistakes. He's a young player. There's going to be mistakes in him. But I think he's got a lot of potential. You can see he's got a lot of potential. And we're going to keep with him. Like, we don't got much choice anyway because we got basically no centre halves. But we're going to keep with him, keep supporting him. And they've seen something in him, that's for sure.
No, absolutely. Following the 3-2 defeat to New England Revolution, we played Atlanta United at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, ground out a 0-0 draw. Personally, I thought the first half an hour of the first half we were very dominant. Slipped off at the end of the first half. Again, we came out in the second half quite well, but then it sort of died down again. Particularly to mention, Ronnie, John Tolkien, another fantastic performance. How far can this boy go?
Well, when he come into the team, obviously Gutman at the beginning of the season was quality down that side. And when Tolkien came in, I was a bit, not sceptical, but I was just unsure of his true ability. But now, when you're looking at the young players in the league, and especially like you're looking at Clark in the team, but now you've also got to look at Tolkien because he's got a brilliant engine in him. He did have a beautiful mallet, but that's a story for another time. But I'm so impressed with him, and I think he's slowly becoming, every game that passes, his name's that bit more up on the team sheet, and you just can't not play him at the moment because he gives everything. You can tell at the end of the game he's got nothing else left to give, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for, especially from a young player.
Absolutely. Luke, who was your man of the match against Atlanta?
I would actually probably say John Tolkien, but John Tolkien had a good game. And it's funny because on the last podcast, we had Anthony on, I was mentioning about, I think it was his prom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was saying he probably had a good night that night. I'm pretty sure he had some more good nights since that.
I'm sure he has.
I'm sure people know who he is now.
I just want to mention when it comes to Atlanta, obviously, we all were tempted to put the mute button on a fair few times. That megaphone and those fans in that small area that we could hear all the time, we were hearing not just really terrible chants, we were hearing conversations. Ronnie, what on earth was going on?
Well, put it this way, at the same, obviously everyone knows it's the Euro 2020 at the moment. So I had two games on. I had the Red Bulls game on, listening to the commentary and the audio from that one, and had the Euros muted. Put it this way, by the 20th minute, I was listening to the Belgium game and I muted the Atlanta one. There was just one person on a megaphone. And if anyone had any decency, they would have taken the AA batteries out and thrown them onto the pitch because it was just like a piercing noise. It like someone got their nails and put it down this chalkboard. And I was just like, and they started singing, "Can you hear the Red Bull sing?" I was like, well, actually, no, it's a pandemic. It's a long journey and there's probably about 2 people there. So, and then they sung that and I thought, oh, they'll sing it once, then twice, then about 12 times. And I was like, all right. And then they start singing really random. And then the one that really bugged me, someone got a yellow card. And then all these people in the crowd magically pulled these yellow cards out and started waving them. I thought I was at like a kids show or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Just to clarify, the reason that was so bad is Andrew Van Aller, who's the social lead at Red Bulls, MXG, what feed do we get as well, can only take the Atlanta feed because of the due COVID, we don't go down from sales anymore. Take the away feed, so that's why we could hear all the Atlanta crowd because it was their feed. I got to say, a lot of people on our timeline was pretty annoyed.
Right, really quickly looking ahead to this weekend, we play Orlando City once more.
Yeah.
This is the second time we played them in 4 games. Boys, during the Atlanta game, they are both apparently back. We would like to hope for the Orlando game.
Yeah.
Have we got some score predictions before we go to the break?
Well, I'll let the optimists go second. I'm a bit pessimistic this weekend, but I'm going to go for an Orlando win. We've struggled on the road, had a load of good games there and on fire at the moment. So I've gone 2-0 Orlando, but I'm hoping to be wrong. And I'm just going to put that out there right now. If Tolkien scores this weekend, I'm going blonde. It's out there.
You, I could never ever go against Red Bulls. I can't be like Ronnie. I always go for the Red Bulls. I can see it's getting a point. I think some of the away games we've been unlucky. I think we get something. I think we can get a point, but we might get more. I think you can never really know that.
I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Again, the poor road form. I think if we can pick two draws up on the bounce away from home, I think that would be really positive. And I'm banking on Klamala scoring his second goal for the club. Right, we're about to go to a quick break. After the break, we will be joined by Scene Red's Mark Fishkin to talk all things New York Red Bulls.
Right. One.
And we are back after a little break. I hope you enjoyed our new jingle in between the halves of the show. We are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Scene Red, New York podcaster and all-round RBNY legend, Mark Fishkin. Welcome to RBNY UK, Mark.
Hey, thank you. I'm so glad to be speaking to your audience. You guys are doing an amazing job covering the team from way over there, and I'm just happy you guys asked.
Amazing. No, we really, really appreciate it. Right, let's get straight into it. Mark, your thoughts on the season so far?
Well, listen, I think anyone that looking at all the change and all the unknowns going into the year, to have the team above the line over 10 games, I think is wonderful. I think it's terrific. I think it shows there's a ton of promise for this team over the final 2/3 of the season. For a team that has been decimated by injuries to important players, none more important than Aaron Long, but to have Danny Royer hurt, to have Andrew Gutman, who proved himself so well over the first few matches of the season, hurt. So many injuries, international absences with Caceres. I mean, again, to be in 7th, I think is phenomenal. I think the team has absolutely bought into Struber's system. I think the team is fighting for each other. And I think there were some tired legs at the end of the Atlanta game, but against New England, the team, even though down 3-0, fought and didn't stop. And I think there's a tremendous amount of spirit with this team. I think there's a next man up mentality given all the injury minutes that have been spent. And I'm definitely optimistic about the rest of the season for sure.
So this is something we were talking about the other day. To obviously, I would say the best ever squad is probably 2018. You look on paper, most points, and I think more than most points in MLS history. Then you got the 15 Shield when no one's supposed to do well. That was my first season as a Red Bull supporter.
Oh, that's a good year.
A good year to get me in. And you got the 13 season where Mike Pecky finally won that first trophy out of 18 years. I wasn't a fan then, but watching that video on YouTube when he says, "I want to give you a team you can be proud of," it's just such a great moment. Yeah. If you compare this team to them teams, where do you think that this team stands in comparison to them teams?
Well, listen, I'm going to say something that may not be too controversial here, but I don't think this team is a threat to win the Supporters' Shield. I think, and we've said it on our show, I think the high watermark for them during this season should be getting a home playoff game, which would mean finishing 4th. I think there are teams that just have much more talent than New York does, and I really don't see the Red Bulls at the level of a New England or Philadelphia or an Orlando or New York City for that matter. That 13 team had Thierry Henry and Tim Cahill. The 15 team, had some well-traveled MLS stars that were pulled in. Had a Dax McCarty, had a Felipe, players like that. There's none of that with this team. This is going as young as possible. and outlasting teams, and the team is the star kind of thing. And we saw a little of that with that 15 team, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't think this team is a threat to finish at the top of the East. I would, at the beginning of the year, my goal was making the playoffs again and continuing the playoff streak. I think based on where they sit at the end of the first third of the season, it should definitely be a home playoff game. That should be the goal. 100%.
I mean, I mentioned at the start of the season I'd be really pleased with sixth. Sixth would be the sort of spot that I'd be looking at. To be honest, now I'm looking more at fourth. I think fourth's very achievable, especially with the sort of start we've had. Obviously, you mentioned that the team was the star, but have there been any standout performers for you this year so far?
Well, I mean, you can't say enough about Caden Clark. Certainly, I think, I think that the guy just finds the goal. I think his ability to take the ball out of the air at any height is tremendous. And I think it's Clark's world and we're just living in it. I think Greg Berhalter actually said earlier today in announcing his Gold Cup squad that were it not for Clark's emergency appendectomy, that he would have been named to the U.S.'s Gold Cup squad. So I wish Caden a quick recovery. I'll tell you that Struber earlier today mentioned that Clark was back and starting to move around a little bit with the team, which is great. I don't know if he's likely for this weekend. In fact, I would certainly bet against it. But so I think he's been great. I think Andrew Gutman, when he was playing, was a nice surprise, and I think that John Tolkien has been a tremendous surprise for an 18-year-old player. I think Caceres continues to become more and more of a young leader on the team. I think the fans have definitely taken to Fabio, especially after his wonder goal that he scored and the assist that he's given. So yeah, I think there are a lot of bright spots and a lot of reasons for Red Bull fans to be excited. A lot of individual players to be excited for as the season moves on.
So they mentioned about Caden Clark. Obviously, the big news in the Red Bull world is he's not going to be in next season by surprise. Probably the worst kept secret since Henri came to town. Like everyone knows it's going to happen, but on Twitter, Red Coach Jay was sort of saying, "What effect do you reckon this will have on the squad?" Because obviously, Caden Clark is like quite a main player. He started most games this season when he kept available, scored 4 goals. He's quite a big player. What sort of effect do you reckon it'll have on the team?
I think regardless of what Major League Soccer team Caden Clark would be playing on in 2021, it would be evident that his quality would take him across the pond in 2022. Yeah. And, there's there are so many schisms among the Red Bull fan base, to be honest with you, right? There's the group of people that feel that the Shield is more important than the Cup. There are people that feel that the Red Bull way, is the way to go, versus people that really, would frankly like to see a team with a little more ambition, a little more global stars and big names to help fill the arena. Clark, and so the latest schism is, are the Red Bulls a feeder team? Yes or no? And yeah, New York has moved on some pretty big players over the 26 seasons of the team, before Red Bull, after Red Bull, right? Whether it was Timmy Howard, or whether it was Josie Altidore, or whether it was Matt Miazga, or whether it was Tyler Adams, or now a Caden Clark. And so, listen, I don't think Clark comes to New York if not for the Red Bull connection. I think, as we've all been talking about since he arrived here, this was the plan. And the fact, honestly, that it's Jesse Marsch and Leipzig that are getting him before Salzburg, I think, is the story here. And for fans in New York that like to come and be attached to players, rather than rooting for players, rooting for the Shield, it's tough, because the notion is, here today, gone today. And the fact that Sean Davis actually came back for a second season as captain was a big deal, because New York was very quick to jettison any player that has seemingly longevity as the team continues to get younger and younger. It's for New York fans that like to see the kid play, I think it's a shame, but I don't think anyone is surprised by the fact that it's time for him to move.
Well, from our point of view, also, it's good for us to be now got to go to watch Leipzig. Like, got Adams, Jesse March, and Caden Clark. We've got the perfect excuse to go and watch a match now.
There you go, and the ability to go to head out to Eastern Germany to see them, I think, would be tremendous. Yeah, I mean, listen, these are three individuals for whom Red Bull did a whole lot for, right? And when you think about, there's so much derision around the soccer globe about what the organization is doing with its soccer teams, and yet here are three Americans that live, breathe the sport, and they have been able to leverage Red Bull's global soccer network to really reach the top flight of a top five league, and it's a testament to their work ethic and their ability to work within the system.
Absolutely.
And their talent.
Yeah, no, of course. Obviously, we mentioned John Tolkien earlier, and his sort of emergence onto the side this year. I mean, firstly, we'll just discuss the mullet and that lack thereof now. The most interesting hairstyle in recent history for RBNY.
Oh my goodness. The most recent hairstyle, most original hairstyle recently. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who's making a statement. I guess now that once Alex Muil got shipped off to Nashville, because, as we know, Muil was doing the cornrows and he was doing the man bun and he was doing a lot of things. Vlo can rock some interesting hairstyles as well. But yeah, I mean, I think for a player that's just emerging into the starting lineup, I think it was fun for him to make a statement with it. I think the league needs characters. I think so much of the knock on MLS is that it's a very corporate league and it's very homogenized. And I think that one of the things that Red Bull does with its very distinct style of play is, we're different. And so the ability for certain players to kind of stand out, young players in particular, to stand out with a hairstyle. I mean, because for Tolkien, it's his hairdo that may get you to notice him on the field, but once you do, it's his play that I think really does the speaking. And he's been tremendous in terms of what we've seen for him over the last few games.
With Andrew Gutman on his way back, how many minutes do you expect Tolkien to get sort of for the rest of the season?
It's really interesting. And again, I apologize for your listeners who might be hearing some hammering. There's some work being done at my home today. So I apologize for that. The real question is when Gutman comes back and there's a real battle for the position, is Tolkien really ready to step up? I really believe that Gutman was brought in, yes, certainly to help the team, but almost to provide some cover for Tolkien as he developed and as a homegrown player. And so as Gutman returns to full fitness, that battle in practice, I think, will be really, really fun to see. It'll push both of the players. Gutman obviously on loan for the 2021 season from Atlanta, of all places. And so if Tolkien truly continues to grow and emerge and his star continues to grow, does he become a target for shifting overseas at his young age, now that he's 18? Or do New York send Gutman back to Atlanta at the end of the 21 season and pencil in Tolkien as the starter for 2022? We'll see.
So obviously today was the announcement. Was even yesterday, I think, actually? It was sometime later time, I know. It was a Gold Cup announcement.
Yes, Gold Cup announcement.
Obviously, no Red Bull players made the squad. Caden Clark would have done, but obviously he had his procedure for the night. Carl Duncan or Frankie Meyer did not make a 23-man squad. Personally, I'm not that bothered. Maybe it's because I'm not American. Now I'd rather see him play for New York. But I think the teams we're playing against, like Philadelphia and the Country Red Bull Arena, are going to have some players that have got a cup. I think that'd be a great opportunity for the Red Bulls, don't you?
Yeah, no, tremendous opportunity. And yeah, I feel for Kyle Duncan because I think that he's continues to grow as a player and has had some significant success this season. I think it's just, does Greg... I guess the issue is that Duncan is too far down the depth chart for Greg to bring him in. It's a shame. He was set to be one of the pre-Olympic tournament selections. That didn't happen. We would hope to see him on the Gold Cup list. He made the preliminary list. That didn't happen. And I would only hope that Duncan would continue to be motivated to prove Berhalter wrong. as for the upcoming games that New York will have during the Gold Cup, right? So all the players will remain with their teams. Unfortunately, Daryl DK isn't leaving before Saturday's game. He will be with Orlando. And then Philly will be missing a number of players, including Andre Blake, which I think is a benefit to New York. And then there's another 10-day break through the end of the Gold Cup group stage. And then, so what are the games here? Miami at home, at Toronto, and at DC before the end of the tournament. I mean, those players aren't going to lose too many players. Ayo Akinola will be gone for Canada. Remains to be seen how late they'll be in. And then Miami, to be frank, guys, I don't know if Miami's lost any players. I don't necessarily think so. They're not much for young Americans, and they're kind of for older players as a team. So, yeah, no, I think it's that Philadelphia game that New York will be looking for, getting a measure of revenge from the earlier 1-0 loss in Philly. And you just should hope they'll be a little depleted. Leon Flack did not get selected by Berhalter. Maybe he, given the fact that his star has risen so much of late, he'll be looking to make a big splash. So we'll see.
Absolutely. You mentioned Daryl DK. He's obviously had an MLS UK crossover himself of late. What do you sort of make of his chances of getting a big move, and what do you think of Daryl DK in the pecking order of the USMNT striker position?
Yeah, well, obviously there are some guys that are in front of Daryl, right? He wasn't selected for the Nations League semis and finals. He did get in that friendly afterwards against Costa Rica. Yeah, I mean, he's got such a bright future ahead of him, and I think he has an opportunity to be a massive star at the Gold Cup. If the service is good for him, I think he could challenge for the Golden Boot in the tournament. What it means for him in Orlando, I mean, I would like to think that in the summer window he goes, and I don't know if it's back to the championship. I don't know if it's to another team, in another league, if it's in England, if it's elsewhere. But I mean, he's a raw talent that has to, in playing championship football, right? Incredibly physical. There's not a lot of nuance. And he's able to use not just his speed, but his soccer IQ and his unbelievable finishing ability to score some really wonder goals while fighting off very physical center backs. So, I think for the Red Bull's sake, we'd like to see him move this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen. Not going to happen, but I think there's a bright future. It's just really a question on what's really being offered for him.
Yep. So I guess the next one is from Keith Brown, who we love Keith Brown, an Englishman in New York. Oh, that's great. Obviously, Carlos Canelo. My translation of names is terrific. Is a clear number one here. He's a clear number one.
Yeah.
He said in the fan frame again. He says, "Does Ryan Murray deserve a start?"
Does who deserve a start? I'm sorry.
Ryan Murray. Ryan Murray
deserve a start. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, Luke. Yeah, listen, I think Coronel is a young goalkeeper, right? He's 24. We know that goalkeepers can play well into their late 30s, as we know from our friend Luis Robles, and be very, very effective. It's evident to me that Struber has his guys. It's evident to me that Coronel is Struber's guy. And unfortunately, when you go up to New England and you drop 3-0, you fall down behind 3-0. And again, Coronel is unable to cover the near post. And then New York mounts a massive comeback and they come up 1 goal short. It makes you think. I think Coronel's perceived ability to play out of the back, and I'm not saying that he's not quality in terms of playing out of the back, may be at the end of the day more important to Struber than shot stopping ability. And I've been speaking to Ryan Mara for 11 years on and off. I love Ryan Mara. He has literally given everything for this team. And it's just kind of funny how his pro career has gone. I think he's I think New York would be absolutely in a great position with Mara. It's almost a shame there's no Open Cup this year because that's traditionally where Mara makes his money, right? And that's where he really earns it. But I would support giving Mara a run out. I don't know if Struber is of that mind. I don't believe he is.
No, I would say probably not. I think he's not like start get shot anyway, but we'll see. Soccer or football is a very funny sport. Anything can happen.
Yep.
So I like some great Lando this weekend. We beat them at Red Bull Arena, but that was at Red Bull Arena. I thought it was good at Red Bull Arena. Not so good on the road so far this season. Go down to Lando's. It's a 12:35 kickoff for us, I think. It's a late one for us. What do you think will happen? Do you think we get a win or a point, or will it be another road loss?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, beating Orlando at home without DK and Nani, and then playing them on the road with DK and Nani does not give me a ton of confidence. To be frank, this is just one of those deals where, guys, the talent gap is just apparently so great, and then throwing Chris Mueller, who, is a very, very talented American striker. And as much as I think the five-man back line did well against Atlanta, I think Orlando's attacking prowess is just at that big, that much better a level. That said, they'll have a week off, thank goodness, between matches, which will certainly serve both teams. Guys, to be frank, I believe that Galese is still with Peru in Copa America, right? So that's a positive for New York. I'm hard pressed to see New York coming out of here with 3 points. I'd love to see maybe a high scoring draw, maybe 2-2, but if it was another 3-1 loss or if it was a 3-1 loss or a 2-0 loss, I wouldn't be surprised. And that's okay. The games they've played over this first 10 matches, they beat the poor opponents. They got a quality win over Nashville. They got a quality win over Orlando, a depleted Orlando at home. And at some point, we're going to stop playing the top 3 teams in the East, and the schedule will turn back around. So we'll get the Miamis, and we'll get the DCs, and we'll get the Montreals, and we'll get the Torontos again. We'll get teams that are really struggling, and I think New York's going to pick up a lot of points in a hurry. But again, this run, New England, Atlanta, Orlando, Philadelphia is as tough a gauntlet as they'll face at any time this year. So if they drop points this weekend in Orlando, it's not the end of the world at all.
No, agreed. Just a few more questions, Mark. Seeing red has been my gateway into New York Red Bulls for years now. To be honest, I have your fridge magnet on my fridge.
Thank you.
It's my every week listen. I love what you do.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, with you being such a pro at this game and us being very new, have you got any sort of tips for what we're doing and anything we can do to improve on our show and what we're trying to do?
Yeah, so there have been a number of Red Bulls podcasts that have come and gone over the years. And what I will say to you is twofold. One, develop your authentic voice. Be you, and don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be what you think the fan base wants to hear. Take the time to just put your voices out there, tinker with things, change things, evolve. That's one. And then the other is, ironically, to be consistent. We do 1 or 2 shows just about every week. When the team wasn't playing, we covered the U.S. men's national team for a week or 2. And we heard some flack about that for some people. It's okay. We're never going to please everyone all the time. But showing up every week and letting your audience know that you'll be there every week is so important, because they start to depend and rely and look forward to you, and then they start to evangelize and share. And that's when things get really fun. But I think you guys are doing an incredible job. I think the branding is brilliant. I think the merchandising you're putting out there is brilliant. I think the the content that you're putting out is terrific. I think your social game is strong, and I would just suggest to continue to grow is just to keep doing it every week. And you're already off to such a terrific start. So keep it up, and thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. The last question, really, Mark. Sorry about again. You've got banging in your house. I've got dogs in my house. My girlfriend's just got back from work, so that's what that's for. The last question. Obviously, with the Euros going on at the minute, is football coming home?
I don't think there's any reason. There's no reason. I mean, listen, I think football can absolutely come home. I think of the teams that are left, if it's not Italy or a sentimental favorite in Denmark that I don't think has the talent to do it, I think football can absolutely come home. I think if football doesn't shoot itself in the foot, as it does so often it has a possibility to avoid that so metro moment and bring it home. But yeah, of the 8 remaining teams, why not them? They certainly have the talent.
Yeah, the match is on Saturday to our quarterfinal.
Yeah.
No matter what, if they win or lose for the Red Bull game, will be absolutely slaughtered. Like that'd be an interesting experience watching the Red Bull game. If we lose anyway, if we lose, who cares? We're in a semi-final.
There you go. It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
Good for you guys.
Right. Thank you, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure. Not that anybody needs to know because everybody knows who you are and where you are, but could you tell everybody where they can find you on the internet?
Sure, they can find me at the very cryptic Mark Fishkin on Twitter. They also can find the show just about anywhere that people listen to podcasts. It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup, and we've just signed on with Facebook, so all of our episodes will be published directly to Facebook as well. But if it's Stitcher, if it's Google Play or the Apple Pod app, or our website, which is seeingredny.com. We've been doing this for 12 seasons now, and we have no intention of stopping.
Thank you very much. Right, from me, from Mark, from Luke, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.